Aries. Recovery today is not escape. It is maintenance of clarity. What keeps repeating now deserves attention. A physical limit that should not be pushed is knocking in the same spot, but with a different tone. Mars activates the home, roots, emotional base sector, so action is needed, but it has to be guided before impulse takes over. This is a real maintenance scene. Less heroics, more intelligence in protecting what keeps you clear. The shelter only works if it becomes an act. A physical limit that should not be pushed needs real space, not a promise. The risk is making it to evening functioning on the outside, while your decisions are already drained on the inside. For Aries, winning does not mean moving first. It means not letting impulse buy you. If you keep forcing that tired part, the price can show up as the wrong tone, an impulsive reply, or fatigue running the whole day. Move. Choose a concrete pause, not a symbolic one. Less exposure, less noise, more real breathing room. Come back here before you answer from the part of you that is already past the limit. Taurus. If the value is not clear, do not fill the gap with politeness. Do not spread your energy thin. Today, the useful tension gathers around a value left too open to interpretation. Venus brings light to the work, method, health sector. An emotional or value-based choice cannot stay vague. This is a small power negotiation. Whoever defines the price also defines the pace. If no one names the bill, a value left too open to interpretation can turn into the usual advantage of whoever insists better than you. The risk is accepting the wrong measure today and finding yourself tomorrow defending a boundary that was already eroded. For Taurus, value is better defended by choosing in time than by silently enduring. The real loss is looking accommodating while you are simply giving up measure without ever having addressed it. Move. Separate your wish for peace from the concrete price. Then decide clearly which one you can actually sustain. Send it to anyone who is handing out margin today without even noticing. Gemini. The stalled part of the day wants one thing: a clean cut. Ask for a simple test. If a reply that has to be chosen now is real, it must hold up to a concrete gesture, not just a feeling. With Mercury emphasized, the field of words, exchanges, and the immediate environment becomes a test of precision. Less noise, more useful speech. This is the moment you realize the problem no longer needs better analysis, but a gesture that reduces it. The day turns when the gesture enters the scene and forces a reply that has to be chosen now to become measurable. For Gemini, the risk is explaining the point beautifully and leaving it without action. Today, the real defeat would be staying intelligent inside an impasse that has already asked for enough time. The price is not making the wrong move. It is becoming excellent at explaining why you are not making it. Move. Cut the excess and protect the first concrete step. Write down the gesture, not the explanation. Cancer. If a price still unnamed stays without measure, someone will use your silence as a discount. No warm-up is needed. A price that still has no name is already on the table, and the sky is asking you to read it plainly. Jupiter's movement across the resources, money, value axis opens space, but useful space has to be occupied with precision. Without a concrete measure, the conversation can sound kind while shifting the cost onto you. It is a practical question dressed up as a favor. If you do not measure it, it takes more room than expected. For Cancer, feeling deeply is a strength only if it does not push you into automatic self-sacrifice. Today's real loss is not seeming rigid. It is giving away value before you have even named it. If you leave that margin vague, someone will use it for their own advantage. Move. Turn the favor into clear conditions right away, so you can see whether it is still healthy or not. Re-listen when the value stays vague and you want to close things elegantly. Leo. The useful care today is not soft because it is weak. It is precise because it has to survive pressure. The shift in perspective matters. A body that no longer wants to negotiate is not only telling you what is heavy, but where you can intervene. The sun signs off on the identity-body-presence axis. What you do now says more than what you explain. It is an inner room that is too full, where the right move is not to push harder, but to remove friction. The softer choice today is not escape. A body that no longer wants to negotiate gives you clarity before pressure decides for you. For Leo, pride only works if it leaves room for the real choice. The right shelter does not drain your strength. It keeps you from wasting it in the wrong place. If you keep forcing that breath, the price can show up as the wrong tone, an impulsive reply, or fatigue running the whole day. Move. Choose a concrete pause, not a symbolic one. Less exposure, less noise, more real breathing room. Save this for the moment you call recovery weakness. Virgo. The love signal today is not sweet. It is precise and maybe uncomfortable. In front of you are two doors. One keeps you away from discomfort for now. The other forces you to turn that point into a choice. With Mercury in the field, the rest, closure, inner preparation zone becomes readable through messages, timing, and micro-replies. It is a phrase that could genuinely bring someone closer, or it could buy a little peace for a few hours. The emotional side only becomes adult today if a contact that tests the boundary does not pull you off center while it turns you on. If you confuse intensity with truth, you may get closeness quickly and clarity too late. For Virgo, the risk is polishing the outline enough to avoid touching the knot. If a contact that tests the boundary excites you but shrinks you, the bill arrives in the form of your dignity. Move. Make a choice that protects both the heart and the boundary, not only one of them. Send it to whoever has to choose dignity without cooling the heart. Libra. For Libra, the resource to protect is not only money, it is position. The risk becomes personal when a willingness that risks turning into debt decides how much space you leave for your center. Venus makes the identity-body-presence axis a test of measure. Pleasure only works if it does not erase respect. It is a favor, a cost, or a promise that can spread if you do not give it shape right away. For Libra, balance today does not come from avoiding friction, but from giving the point a proper form. What stays unnamed does not remain neutral. It becomes margin surrendered, time given away, a price set by someone else. If the cost stays implied, the day often chooses the most convenient price for others, not for you. If a willingness that risks turning into debt stays vague in a polite tone, whoever insists the most sets the price. Move. If the boundary is real, write it or say it now, not after it has already been crossed. Come back here before you say yes to a cost you have not counted. Scorpio. Today the shadow does not make a scene. It hides in the sentence you keep repeating to yourself. It will not announce itself with drama. A domestic silence that has become too comfortable shows up in a small but exact shift. Pluto makes the home, roots, emotional base sector magnetic and uncomfortable. If you do not name the tension, it leads. It is a tiny crack between what you know and what you keep supporting. And today, it is easier to see than usual. The more you try to stay clear without feeling, the more a domestic silence that has become too comfortable finds a way to be heard. For Scorpio, strength means not confusing control with truth. If the alibi stays standing, the day may hold together on the outside. You are the one who stays split inside. The risk is saving face and leaving untouched the very point that guides you from below. Move. If an excuse comes back sounding elegant, break it with one simple, verifiable fact. Save it for when the alibi comes back sounding more elegant. Sagittarius. Today the opening does not arrive shouting. It comes through an invitation to move before the noise. You do not need to become cold. You need a decision that separates an invitation to move before the noise from the noise around it. Jupiter shifts the margin across the vision, travel, study axis. The opportunity is real, only if it does not become a bloated promise. It is a half-open door, a possible answer, an invitation not to postpone again. If you keep watching too long, the useful signal can lose weight, not because it was false, but because you did not choose its moment. Today, the real loss would be treating as noise the passage that can restore direction to the day. For Sagittarius, freedom today comes from giving the right point proper measure. The risk is waiting for a more comfortable signal, and discovering the true one was already clear enough. Move. Do not open 3 scenarios. Confirm the small step that keeps the best possibility alive. Use this as a reminder when fear tries to sound like caution. Capricorn. Today the opportunity asks for less enthusiasm and more precision. It is a quiet passage, one that rewards people who do not confuse caution with sleep. You do not need 10 factors. Today, a useful threshold to cross early becomes clear in one well-seen exchange. With Saturn active, the home, roots, emotional-based sector demands boundaries. Less promise, more real staying power. If you keep watching too long, a useful threshold to cross early can lose weight. Not because it was false, but because you did not choose its moment. For Capricorn, the risk is managing weight expertly and still letting it rule the room. If you stay too composed, the useful moment can pass and leave you only with an elegant version of regret. The risk is waiting for a more theatrical confirmation and losing the margin you could have used with clarity. Move. Write the route in one line, then protect the first concrete step. Come back here before you call what needs timing mere fantasy. Aquarius. Today the risk is not losing time, it is buying time the wrong way. Uranus activates desire, creativity, and pleasure. The choice cannot stay automatic. Keep the scene tight. An invitation, a spark, a confirmation you do not need to chase. It is the invitation that lights something up. It feels like freedom, but it asks for a confirmation right away. The immediate effect is loud. What is alive does not need to buy its own proof. The spark is not the problem. It becomes one when you chase the effect and lose your center. The spark is real, only if it does not need to possess you immediately. For Aquarius, seeing beyond is not enough. Today, the skipped step becomes the point that calls you back. Who is really in charge, the desire or the need to feel chosen? The strong move is to feel the spark without handing it the wheel. Move. Choose one living gesture. The rest can wait off stage. Save it for when the scene asks for more than it deserves. Pisces. Attraction today is only worth it if it leaves your measure intact, not if it forces you to chase. The line is there to protect the center. A promise that wants a boundary cannot stay open at your expense. The moon enters Virgo. The point in the relationship's agreement's confrontation field becomes sharper when you stop treating it like a detail. It is a closeness that could genuinely warn you. Or it could pull you back into an old script if you go in without a boundary. The emotional signal is only valid if a promise that wants a boundary does not ask you to betray your center. The real question is whether this is a bond that opens presence or a dynamic that feeds only on your reaction. For Pisces, depth becomes strength when it accepts the boundary that makes it readable. The cost is giving away presence before you know whether the living part truly deserves space. Move. Strip away the seductive line and leave the true one, even if it is shorter. Save it before you turn a living point into a reply made only out of fear of losing contact.